Disney World is the size of a massive city, so how can you conquer it all? Pixie dust, of course. Just think happy thoughts and... That didn't really work out, but let's talk about our 20 must-dos around all of Walt Disney World. Planning a Disney trip can be super overwhelming because of how much there is to see and do, so we're diving headfirst into our 20 must-dos around all of Walt Disney World right now. Now, first things first, if this is your first time to Disney World, one of those things you have to do is meet the head cheese, Mickey. Not Bob's, not any of the Bob's. Meet Mickey Mouse. That's our #1 must-do if you've never been to Disney World or if you've been a lot. Not necessarily just Mickey Mouse. I'm talking all character interactions here. If you didn't already know, you actually can meet and see and get to interact with a lot of your favorite Disney characters that you find throughout Walt Disney World. Of course, you can meet the Fab Five, Mickey, Minnie, Daisy, Donald, and Goofy. But of course, it's not limited to Mickey. There are character meet and greets throughout all of the 4 parks. And essentially, a character meet and greet, in case you don't know, is where you can actually go meet your characters, you wait in a line, and you get to have those special interactions and take some pictures with them. But if you're curious about the main man, you can actually find him in all 4 parks. So meeting Mickey is something that I think is a rite of passage for everybody who's coming to Disney, whether you're 5 or 25 or 35, 55, all the way up. It is just something that you want to do once in your life. I recently got to do it with my great aunt. She'd been to Disney World originally in the 70s and then still had never met Mickey and had not been back until this past year. And of course, we had to go meet Mickey with her. And it was one of the most special and fun experiences. I'll remember it for the rest of my life. And I know that she will too, because no matter how old you are, Mickey means something to a lot of people. He's the reason it's all here. So it's something you definitely need to check out. Today we're gonna rate all of the things we're talking about on piles of pixie dust. And I think on a scale of 1 to 5, this is like 4 piles of pixie dust. You absolutely need to do it. It's gonna give you that feeling. It might not be a 5 out of 5 for everybody, but for almost everybody, it'll be a 4 out of 5. What a lot of people come to Disney for is those iconic rides. So our #2 must-do is going to be riding iconic rides, and the best place to do that is Magic Kingdom. When you think of Disney World iconic rides, you're probably thinking of things like Space Mountain, It's a Small World, Peter Pan's Flight, Pirates of the Caribbean, Jungle Cruise, the list goes on and on and on. For me, one of those classics that I think of is the Carousel, because the Carousel is kind of what started it all for Walt Disney. He was watching his kids on a carousel, his 2 daughters, and that's when he kind of dreamed up the idea and the concept of Disneyland, which eventually evolved into all of it. The reason that I think this is a must-do is because as someone who loves Disney, a lot of the things that I associate with Disney are these iconic rides. It's the exciting things that you look forward to. Disney's, of course, a big old playground, and that's what people really, really love. So this is something you need to do, and because we're here and because we can, I'm gonna ride an iconic ride myself. Okay, I grabbed my horse. It's blue and purple, and I think that's appropriate because I have a blue skirt on today. And I think that's one of the fun parts about the classic rides is you never know which one you're gonna get. So we started making like a little thing, like we get excited whatever row we're on. I'm excited that I have a purple and blue horse. Why do I think that this is a must-do though? Well, mainly it's because this is what Disney is known for. It's those classic rides, the classic attractions, and they have some new and super exciting ones that I even prefer, like Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind over in Epcot. But at least once in your life, you need to say that you did a small world at Disney World. And that way, if you hate it, you know. And that way, if you're not sure, you find out you love it. Try everything at least once. I think this is gonna be 5 out of 5 pixie dust piles because this is what Disney is made of, baby. Those classic attractions. Our next Disney must-do is you gotta find the thrills, baby. And they are here, despite what people say. So one thing Disney is not necessarily known for is their thrill rides. But let me tell you guys, they have them. People can argue yes or no, but I'm gonna say absolutely yes. From rides like Tower of Terror to Rock and Roller Coaster, Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind, Expedition Everest, there are tons of thrills to be found around Walt Disney World. For me, I have recently come to love Tower of Terror, one of my new favorite rides, apparently, after being scared of it for years. And let me tell you, finding the thrills in Disney World makes it all the more exciting and makes it even more exciting for those kids who maybe are out of the Disney age and think it's not super cool. This will be cool to them and to me. Now, why are thrills like this a must-do? I think it's because it makes Disney even more exciting for those people who maybe don't necessarily love the classic rides. They did them once, they enjoyed them enough, but that's not why they come to Disney anymore. But rides like Tower of Terror will get people coming back time and time again, even if they're not just here for the Disney classics, the Disney nostalgia. Finding the thrills and trying them once can make you a little proud of yourself. You tried it, and maybe you'll never try it again, but you can say you did it. And I think that that is something to be proud of, and something you need to do in your life. When it comes to finding the thrills, I'm gonna give this one 3.5, 4 out of 5 pixie dust piles, mainly because this is not for everyone, but I think you need to try it at least once in your life, and I am counting it as a must-do. Next must-do on our list is you need to conquer all of the mountains in Disney World. And if you know, you know, and if you don't, you're about to learn. So what does it mean to conquer all of the mountains? Well, famously, Disney has a few mountains. So Space Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, previously Splash Mountain, and it kind of became this like online trend to conquer all of the mountains. So it's a lot of fun, but essentially it's just riding all the big rides. Now, in my mind, I count a lot of things. So I even count Expedition Everest in this one because you're literally going up a mountain. Things like that I think can kind of fit into this category. But I say let's hop on, let's ride Space Mountain, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, this is one of my favorite rides in all of Disney World, but honestly, all of the like quote-unquote mountains are in my top favorites. Why do you need to do it though? Honestly, it's because it's a fun little challenge for you and your family. It's one that is fairly simple, and if you're able to do all of them, it's like a fun thing that you can say that you did. You can go grab a free celebration button and then write that you conquered all the mountains on them. The rides themselves are tons of fun, but then also to add this kind of thrill of a challenge makes it even more exciting. As far as pixie dust piles go, I'm gonna give this one 3.5 out of 5 pixie piles because it's a lot of fun, and I think you should do them anyways. Whether you want to conquer all of the mountains or not, though, is totally up to you. All right, so we've experienced a lot, and I'm kind of ready for a treat. So our next must-do is going to be trying some of those famous Mickey-shaped snacks. So this is something that you can do anywhere in Disney World because they are everywhere. From things like Mickey waffles to Mickey ice cream bars, Mickey ice cream sandwiches, Mickey pretzels. There are tons and tons and tons of them. And honestly, I'm gonna say it, they're not gonna be the best snacks you're ever gonna get, but they are gonna be the most memorable and the most special. Okay, for my Mickey shaped treat today, I went with what is my current favorite Mickey shaped treat outside of waffles, and it is the Mickey ice cream bar. It is a vanilla ice cream bar covered in chocolate. It's simple, it's a classic, and it's delicious. There is something so classic and delicious and comforting about a Mickey ice cream bar. Yes, you can buy them in stores. It is not the same as having one here. Now, I used to think they were better, but something in my soul still loves a Mickey ice cream bar. They get melty and yeah, a little sticky, but I think it's all worth it. A lot of people in my family love this one. I have cousins who we do like counts, like how many Mickey ice cream bars they get while they're here, and I just think it's a classic, simple comfort. Plus, it's Mickey shaped. On a scale of must-do-ness, I'm gonna give this one a 4.5 out of 5 pixie dust piles because it's just fun. Like, it's just plain simple fun. It's not gonna knock your socks off, it's not gonna change your life, but maybe it might. Cheers. I gotta be honest, literally, eating a Mickey bar in the heat is so messy, but I think that's part of the fun experience too. On to the next must-do though. Now, if you're anything like me, this next must-do is really more of a maybe I shouldn't, but I'm gonna anyways, and that's shopping in Disney World. When it comes to Disney World merchandise, I'm kind of what you would call an addict for Disney World merchandise. It's like a real problem I have, but it's one of my favorite things, shopping, collecting, and just finding those cute little things that are gonna remind you of your trip and of Disney World when it's time to head home. One of the best places to do that is over at Disney Springs, which is Disney's dining and shopping district, where you can grab lots of amazing food and then check out World of Disney and also other specialty shops. Now, each Disney theme park kind of has their signature shopping, I would say. So for example, the Emporium on Main Street is going to be like the #1 place to go big generic shopping when you're in Magic Kingdom. Right now in Epcot, I'm in Creation Shop, where you're gonna find a lot of the more generic but Disney items that you've been looking for. Now, why do I think shopping is a must-do outside of I just want to shop? I think it's a great way to kind of bring home collectibles. Find those little things that you're gonna have have a big Disney memory connected to it, or just things that you're going to use to like boost your spirits a little bit. That might sound weird, but if you're a Disney adult like me, wearing a Disney t-shirt when you're not at Disney World is going to make you feel an extra amount of like happy on those regular days. Now, when it comes to must-do-ness, I think that everybody has to get yourself a little something. It's just something that everyone deserves. I'll put it that way. I'm gonna give this one a 3 out of 5 pixie dust piles because I think it's something that you're gonna do anyways. And if you're balling on a budget like I tend to be when I'm in Disney World, maybe it's not always something you can do, but it's always something that I think you should want to or must do. For our next must-do, this is actually something you're gonna do at the start of your trip and pretty much every day, but you're gonna drop the rope drop. You must rope, you're gonna rope drop, right? If you don't know what I'm talking about, Disney World does this thing called a rope dropping. In the past, they actually, before the parks open, had like a physical rope, and the cast members would hold it to kind of stop people before they could go into the parks, and then they would kind of take the rope down, and people called this rope dropping, meaning you were there before the park opened, so that way you could be the first people in line for a lot of the most popular rides throughout all of the parks. Now, this is a must-do if you're looking to maximize your Disney trip, because this is the most important time of the day if you're looking to hop on as many Disney rides as possible. Now, when it comes to rope dropping, there's a lot of different ways to do it, and it really depends on what your priorities are. For example, in Magic Kingdom, there's a few ways to rope drop. We tend to do the Adventureland rope drop. Here in Epcot, you can choose to go to either Test Track, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, or Frozen Ever After. None of them are bad choices, but Frozen is my personal favorite. Hollywood Studios, you can either head to Tower or Rise of the Resistance. And then in Animal Kingdom, we almost always recommend the Flight of Passage rope drop, but there's lots of different ways to do it, and we have put every single one of them to the test. If you're curious about any of them, check out some of our best days ever. We do them in all of those. It's gonna be how you're gonna get on the most rides possible when you're here on your vacation. Now, some people love to sleep in, that's true, but that's not my life. That's not what I'm about. So I'm a morning person, and because of that, I'm gonna give this one 4 out of 5 pixie dust piles, because sometimes it's hard. On day 5, it's hard, but on day 1, it's so exciting and so much fun. Now, for this next Disney must-do, I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this, and I feel like also Sage Starkey would come to my house and say, "What are you doing?" Because this next Disney must-do is all about live entertainment, because you must sing your heart out when you're in Disney World. It is a must. You're required to. I'm sorry. So let's talk live entertainment in Disney World. When it comes to Disney, one of the things that makes Disney stand out compared to other theme parks around the world is their live entertainment. From things like the Frozen Sing-Along Celebration to the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular, there are so many shows where you can sing and learn and just have a great time while taking a break from the crowds. When it comes to favorites, I find myself at the Frozen Sing-Along Celebration all the time, but Beauty and the Beast live on stage is incredible. The Magical Friendship Fair in Magic Kingdom is amazing. The Festival of the Lion King in Animal Kingdom. I mean, across the board, Disney has amazing live entertainment in every single park and at a lot of the resorts too. This is one of those things that you have to experience because it makes your visit a little bit more well-rounded. It's a must-do because this is what sets Disney apart. This is what makes it worth it. And if you love the Disney movies that you watched as a kid, this is your opportunity to sing the Circle of Life at the top of your lungs with a few hundred other Disney people who also are doing the same thing, pretending like they can't hear the person next to them. On a scale of pixie dust piles, I'm gonna give this one, I said it, a 5 out of 5. That one's for you, Sage, in particular, because as we all know, live entertainment is important. For this next must-do, you are absolutely going to be missing out on a huge chunk of Disney World if you're not doing it, and that's going to be exploring the resorts. The resorts make Disney World 10 times bigger, 100 times more incredible, and offer a lot more than people actually realize. Right now at Disney World, there are more than 25 resorts around Walt Disney World, and frankly, that is crazy because all of them have their own unique experiences, dining options, and just places to play and run around, and theming, which is just really cool to me. As someone who loves a good resort hop day, this is one of my favorite things to do in Disney World, and honestly, you can do it for free. If you don't know what resort hopping is, essentially it's when because you can't park at most resorts without a dining reservation. You park at a theme park and then you kind of hop on a bus and you go around, or you hop on the Skyliner and you just wander around Disney World, trying out the different resorts and seeing a lot of things. So you can park at a resort if you want to do it, and if you're not staying on Disney World property, or if you're staying on Disney World property, just hop right on the transportation that's already there for you. The reason that I think this is a must-do is because it expands all of the options at Disney World. A lot of my favorite things in the world to do are at resorts and not even at the theme parks. I'm looking at you, Le Petit Cafe, okay? My life is built around resort hopping. A lot of times when I'm off, that's what I find myself doing at Disney World, because there's so much to do and there's so much fun. I think it is a really special way to kind of explore Disney without necessarily going to the theme park. So if you're wanting to save money, or if you're looking for a rest day, resort hopping is a great way to experience Disney World without feeling too tired. It's also a great rest day, or just to try something new and chill and save a little bit of money too. When it comes to pixie dust piles, I'm gonna say that this one gets a 3.5 out of 5 pixie dust piles, because it is not an absolute necessity, and a lot of times if you're coming in for a quick trip, there's not necessarily time to do it. But if you want to expand on your trip, if you want to make it 10 times better, definitely include this must-do. Now, doing all of that can kind of make you hungry, right? So that's why our next must-do is you need to check out the Disney foodie lists. Disney World is famous for many things. We've talked about a lot of them today, but one of the things that I feel like we haven't talked about enough is that Disney food. Disney has some amazing snacks and food, and some that are honestly not so amazing, but to us, that is a major part of Disney World, is getting to have all of the Disney foodie items. And because we're here, and because we have to, right? I'm getting one of my favorite Disney foodie items right now at Casey's Corner. It's where you're gonna find the famous corn dog nuggets, as well as some just picky eater friendly meals. All right, here's one of my foodie favorites. Casey's corn dog nuggets, comes with fries, and getting a side of liquid gold cheese for $1. This is one of my favorites. Big cup of water for free at Casey's. Most cups of water are like this size, but this one is this size. Nothing on the planet hits like these corn dog nuggets for me. I went through a phase where I had them too much, but now I'm back and I love them. They're not super special is the crazy part, but I just crave them. They're like a Disney nostalgic thing in addition to just being tasty comfort food. So I love them. Why do I think that knowing the Disney kind of foodie list, or knowing your Disney foodie things, is a must? It's because you have to eat when you're in Disney World. Yes, you're gonna have to eat. It's hot, you're walking a lot. You need the nutrition. And you might as well get something that's actually good and not spend your money on things that aren't. Now, that being said, I'm slowly starting my food tours. Right now we have one of Magic Kingdom and Epcot up on the channel, and Disneyland if that's your thing. But check out those food tours, start making your list. For me, personally, I'm gonna give this 5 out of 5 pixie dust piles, because this is my favorite part of Disney. The snacks, the food. I would have spreadsheets of the food that I wanted to get before I would come on vacation. I think it's a huge part of the experience, and again, you're gonna have to do it anyways, so it might as well be really good.
This thing on? Oh, good! Hello, welcome to Debs Donts. My name is Deb, and this will serve as the halfway point to the video you are currently watching right now. The producers say I can't have a video of my very own just yet, so this will serve as an audition process, otherwise known as bacon testing, which is unfortunate as I am involved in the middle of a vicious raw diet. My apologies. Beta testing, which is also unfortunate as it's a whole lot less delicious. Any Osmond, welcome to Debs Donts. Coffee sip. Oh, Barbara, the coffee is just to die for, and I love the office tumbler you put it in. Did I ever tell you I love Jim's half smile? I just want to take his little cheeks and rip them off for insubordination. Any man alone. Here is Deb's first don't. When you're visiting Disney World, don't touch the walls. Any of them. Not today, not ever. You don't know what's on them, it's disgusting. There I was in the Imagination Pavilion in the Epcot Center. I was resting on a wall, had my hand just like this. 3 families ahead of me, a little boy picking his nose, wiping it on the wall. I look at my hand. I look at Barbara. I look back at my hand. I look back at Barbara. You know what I said? This is what I said. This little piggy went to market. This little piggy's getting chopped off. It's an unfortunate circumstance, but not today. So whatever you do, don't touch the walls. Annie Diamond, thank you for visiting Debs Donts. I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Coffee sip. Barbara, you know who should have played Michael Scott? Regis Philbin, voice of an angel, hilarious, fantastic to look at. Back to you, Emma. How do I turn this off?
All right, so that concludes our foodie list, right? But what about all that sit-down dining? That's our next must-do. You cannot miss out on the sit-down dining in Disney World. When it comes to Disney dining, there's a handful of things. So there's quick services, which is kind of like fast food walk-up bars, and then there's table services. Table services are going to be those sit-down dining restaurants, and we're here at one of my favorites, which is the Hollywood Brown Derby. This is an incredible table service, but it is not the only good one. There are so many around all of Disney World. Now, Disney has so many table services scattered throughout the entire Walt Disney World Resort, and I have a hard time picking my favorite, but what's extra cool is some of these are actually award-winning restaurants that you can find right here at Disney World. I love the Hollywood Brown Derby. I love Sanaa over at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. I love Three Bridges over at Disney's Coronado Springs. It's hard for me to pick, but those are probably my top 3 right now. But it's constantly changing because Disney is always innovating and doing new restaurants, new menus, super exciting stuff. Like, things are always changing in Disney World. So honestly, my favorite restaurant kind of consistently changes based on what I'm excited about. But those 3 have stayed at the top of my list for a really long time. Another thing that's really cool that Disney does is something called the Disney Dining Plan. Now, this is essentially you can kind of prepay for your food around Disney World, and that includes some of the snacks we talked about. It includes quick services, and it includes table services depending on which dining plan you grab. Now, this is one of those things, it's newly back. It was gone for a long time thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic, but they finally brought it back. So it's one thing, we put it fully to the test, and if you want to learn more about that and kind of see if it's worth it or not, we have a full video up on the channel right now talking about all of the DDP. Now, the reason I think this is a must-do is because this is where the real good Disney food is at. I love the snacks, I love the meals, but if you're going to compare a quick service to like a table service, the table service is almost always going to be better, even though there's great quick services around. I think this is a great way to get off your feet after a long park day, or even to just get out of the sun, because there's some in the parks, there's some at the resorts, there's so many options, and you can find something that pleases almost every single person. Now, these can get a little bit pricier, so when it comes to rating, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 pixie dust piles because I think it's a must-do, but only if you can afford it or if you budget for it. Your Disney World trip isn't gonna suffer just because you don't do a table service, but if you wanna maximize and you want a great Disney experience, definitely consider doing one. Now, if you're not freaking out over festivals, you are missing out on a major must-do, because this is one of the best and most exciting things to do when you're in Epcot. Now, this is an Epcot specific one. If you've never heard of a festival, this is something that Epcot does, and they have one almost all the time every year. Right now, it's the International Flower and Garden Festival, which is actually Quincy's favorite, and it just makes the park look so beautiful. But there's tons of festivals all year, and each one has a different theme. For example, Flower and Garden is all about the flowers, the topiaries, and a lot of vegan dishes throughout the different cooking that you're gonna find. Each festival has different booths, merchandise, entertainment, and different experiences that you're gonna find throughout Epcot, and they are pretty much changing every few months, if not every few weeks right now. If you're not doing festivals when you're here at Epcot, you are missing out on a major core part of this park. It is always so much fun. It means Epcot's always changing and always has something new going on. And frankly, it's the best food that you're gonna find in Disney World, in my opinion, outside of those like award-winning restaurants. Now, on a scale of must-do-ness, I think that you have to do this because it's a fun, different experience, and you can try a lot of new things without really breaking the bank if you're smart and watch AllEars.net videos, you know? I think that on a scale of 1 to 5, I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5 because there are some festival options that are kind of lackluster and maybe might trick you a little bit, but for the most part, you need to do it and experience it so you can say you've done everything in Disney World. If you wanna learn more about it, you can actually check out every single festival. We have a video up on the channel right now, and our latest one is the 2024 Flower and Garden, which just started in February. So go check that out if you're curious to see more about it. Check out the reviews and see what all this particular festival has to offer. Next up, you have to talk about all of those freebies in Disney World. So our next must-do is to make sure you're not passing up the freebies, because despite the price of a lot of stuff, there are a handful of things that you can still grab for free here in Disney World. So Disney World is famously expensive at this point, which kind of makes me sad for different reasons, but a lot of people don't realize that there are still free things and free activities that you can grab while you're running around. So there's things like the celebration buttons, which if you don't know what those are, is essentially a free button that you can grab all around Disney World that have different celebrations, whether your birthday or just a more generic celebration or even anniversaries, things like that. You can grab free water around Disney World. It gets hot and it gets dangerously hot, so Disney's making sure to provide that free water. But then also you can get pixie dusted. If you don't know what that is, it's a Magic Kingdom specific thing here at Sir Mickey's, and it's actually free. It's something that DFB Cassie does literally every time she's here, and I think we should try it out just because, right? It's free.
I'm gonna have you close your eyes and make a big wish for me. With little faith, trust, and pixie dust, make all your wishes and dreams come true. Perfect, thank you.
I got pixie dusted. So getting pixie dusted, I don't want to ruin the magic. It's just a little glitter. It's in your hair. This is actually one thing Sage refuses to do, which I think is so funny. But it's just one of those simple little things. Like, it makes you feel magical. I think it's so much fun. I did it all the time when I was just coming every few years as a guest. I do it all the time now. And it's simple, and it's one of those things that is magical. Now, why do I think you need to do this? I think you need to do it because there's not many things that are free in Disney World. Honestly, there's so few opportunities. There's more than you think, for sure, but it's still very rare to find something that is just completely fun and completely free. So I think anytime you find that opportunity, you need to take it up. You need to do it. Things like KidCot over at Epcot, kid activities that are free, do them. It's not, you don't lose anything, so that's why I think you need to do it. When it comes to pixie dust piles, I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5 because, again, you don't get much for free in Disney, so we're gonna savor that. We're gonna enjoy it and give it 5 out of 5 pixie dust piles. Now we've got all of our freebies, but what about the stuff that's included in your Disney World stay? That's right, our next must-do is going to be take a pool day, because you deserve it. You've been walking a lot, you've been really hot, it's getting warm, and frankly, it's time for a little relaxation. When it comes to Disney World, it is no secret that this is a pretty taxing vacation. It's not really one that you kind of relax on, per se, but we think that it's really important to rest your body. Take those resort days, take a break in the middle of your vacation, because frankly, you're going to need it. When you're walking miles and miles and miles a day and you're not really used to it, your body doesn't adjust super well, so taking that pool day is going to be a great way to expand the bang for your buck, since you're already paying for it with your resort, and you're going to kind of save a little bit of money because you're not spending it in the parks. Disney World pools are actually so much fun. I remember as a kid, like, I have really strong core memories of playing in the pool at our resort. It's just a great way for your kids to burn energy, but you be able to like sit down and like watch them from afar and not be as nervous. Plus, the Disney pool bars actually are some of the best dining options throughout all of Disney World. For example, Bar Riva is a pool bar, but it has amazing food. If you're looking for a way to maximize your Disney trip while kind of chilling and saving a little bit of money, a Disney pool day is absolutely a necessity. Plus, your body deserves it. You deserve it. Take the pool day. The parks will still be there tomorrow. On a scale from 1 to 5, I'm gonna give this one a 2. This might be our lowest rating yet, because I think that they're a necessity. I think that they're a must-do, but I'm also not gonna pretend I have not come to Disney World and not taken a pool day. Sometimes if you're gonna cut things out of your trip because you're trying to do as much as you can in a short amount of time, the pool day is gonna be the first thing to go, but we all know that we deserve it. So that's why I'm putting it in this list and telling you that you do need to do it. A lot of times on this channel, we like to live by a do as we say, not as we do. And I know that I'm guilty of like not giving myself that break, but knowing that I probably needed it. So in this instance, do as we say, not as we do. If you're not doing this next must-do, you are missing out on probably a lot around Disney World, and you won't even know it, because the next must-do is keeping an eye out for changes. So when I say keep an eye out for changes, what exactly do I mean? Well, I mean watch out for things. Stay in tune with that Disney news, because Disney is always changing. For example, in 2024, we're getting a bunch of changes. Right here in front of me is Voyage of the Little Mermaid. This is a show that closed around the pandemic. Sorry, I don't like bringing it up. We're all sick of hearing about it. It's a thing that closed, unfortunately, and then never reopened, but it's actually reopening in a new and kind of different way this year. Coming in 2024, we are going to be getting the brand new The Little Mermaid, A Musical Adventure, which is a show that's going to be opening here in Hollywood Studios. It's a pretty big change coming up, and it means new live entertainment, but also more live entertainment. Another place for you to sit down, get out of the AC, and enjoy some of that classic Disney entertainment. But that's not the only change coming. The Country Bear Jamboree recently closed and is going to be opening sometime around summer 2024, and it's being reimagined. So not the same, not totally different, but it's going to be inspired by new Disney songs in a Nashville music sense. So the first thing they've given us kind of a glimpse at is Bare Necessities. I think it sounds incredible. I'm super excited. But then also in summer 2024, we're getting Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which is going to be huge, and it's a rethemed Splash Mountain with one of my favorite princesses, and I cannot wait. All of this is really big, it's really important, and it's just a handful of the changes coming, and if you don't know about them, you're going to be missing out on 3 major changes in Disney World. Keeping up with all of the changes is important, so that way you know what is going to be open and what isn't going to be open when you're here. So that way you're not missing out on something, you're not wasting your time, and you're not setting up false expectations. Because I've been to a Disney park when a ride I wanted to ride was closed, and it hurts your heart and soul, and it's hard to make up for that. Best way to do that though is to be following AllEars.net. Yeah, shameless plug, because we of course have all of the Disney news and tips and tricks up on the site, and we always make sure that is the fastest way to get our news out. So if you want to know news as it's happening, make sure you're following the blog. Because of the importance of this one, I'm giving this one a 6 out of 5 pixie dust piles, because this is a true make or break on your trip. The rest are fun, they really help your Disney trip become everything you want it to be, but if you don't do this one, you could miss out on everything that might matter to you. Food, shows, rides, like everything, okay? So 6 out of 5. Another Disney must-do is you need to make the photo album. For me, growing up, one of my favorite things is my mom would buy a photo album while we were here. We would take all of our PhotoPass pictures, and then going home we would make the photo album. And I look at it now all the time as an adult. So PhotoPass is essentially Disney photographers stationed throughout all of Disney World in these lovely lime green shirts. And they will take your photos for you and your family. And I actually really love it because it tends to be the only time that every single member of the family gets to be in the photo that is not just a quick selfie as you're walking. I think that this is a great way for those mamas who are always behind the camera, or the dads who are always behind the camera, to hop in and be a part of the photos and get the full experience. And they're everywhere, and you can buy packages while you're here, so that way you can get all of your photos or just some of them. So it's super easy. You just walk up or get in line, and then this person will take your photos. Sometimes they'll do things called magic shots, where they add a little bit of extra Disney magic to your photos, and they'll have you pose certain ways. And so sometimes it'll look like a character's with you, or you're holding balloons. A lot of different fun stuff like that. I love it. I think it's so easy. I think it's such a great perk to your trip. Now it can get expensive depending on what bundle you buy, but I think it's totally worth it to preserve those memories and to make the photo album. One thing about Disney is it is a once in a lifetime for a lot of people, or some people dream about it and never get to go, but it's one of those things that it means a lot when you're here. Even if the people who don't like it, you know, there are people who come on vacation to Disney and think it's overhyped, this is not for me, but you know what they do? They still print their photo in front of the castle. Why am I emotional over that? That's so crazy. But it means a lot to people. Even people who don't love it and come to vacation here print the photos, and they'll have that for the rest of their lives. And I just think that's very special. And I value all of those photos with my family, and it just means the world to me. So I think it's a must-do. 5 out of 5 pixie dust piles, maybe 6 because that's like really emotional to me. I don't know why, but photos are important, your memories are important, and most important is your family and the people you're spending time with, so save the memories. Another must-do is to sail away with that Disney transportation. So I'm taking the ferry. So when it comes to transportation around Walt Disney World, they have a lot of ways to do it. They have ferries, they have boats, they have buses, they have a Skyliner, they have a monorail, they have minivans. They've got lots and lots and lots, and that's going to be the best way to get around Disney World property. So why is doing Disney transportation a must-do? Well, A, you need to get around the parks and all of the different part of the resort, but also it's just kind of fun. I love taking the different types of transportation. I know that my family and I have preferred types. I love the Skyliner. I take it every time I can. I think it's just a fun way to get around Disney World. It's a necessity that you can make more exciting and more fun than what it naturally kind of is. And it's free, so it saves you money. And it allows you to do things like resort hopping. On a scale of 1 to 5 pixie dust piles, I'm gonna give this one a 4, because if you're using transportation to Magic Kingdom, there's a Joffrey's outside, and there's basically no line at that Joffrey's, so it's gonna get an extra point. Another must-do when you're in Disney World is feeling those firework feelings, and yes, that means literally watch the fireworks. You gotta watch them. There's 2 different kinds. Watch them. So right now in Disney World, you can catch 2 different fireworks shows. The first is here in Magic Kingdom, and it is called Happily Ever After, and it is so good. And then the other one is called Luminous, the Symphony of Us, over at Epcot, which is almost basically brand new, having just premiered in December of 2023, and it's also wonderful. For me, that is the kind of the climax, the finale of your Disney World adventure journey show. It's the epitome, it's the cherry on top. The fireworks are incredible and absolutely need to be experienced at both of the parks, in my opinion. Now, there are people who choose to skip the fireworks and ride rides because the wait times tend to be lower during that time, but I'm telling you, I think you need to watch the fireworks. It is just one of those traditional Disney staples. It is one of the things that I think gets me the most emotional. It makes me feel like a kid again. It's one thing that every single member of your family can do all at once, all together. And it is just so special. Even if you're just watching them as you're walking past, get a glimpse of them, experience at least a little bit of them. I'm gonna say 4 out of 5 for this one because there are families who tend to skip it, and it is not a must-do for everybody, but I think you need to do them at least once in your life. And again, even if it's just walking past and listening to the songs, it's special and I highly recommend it. For one of our final must-dos, you need to find out if your dreams are strong enough and bright enough. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Fantasmic is the next must-do. So we did talk a little bit about some nighttime spectaculars you can find at Disney World when we talked fireworks, but we've not talked about what might be my favorite, and that is Fantasmic. If you don't know what Fantasmic is the nighttime show here at Hollywood Studios, and it's not necessarily a fireworks show, although those are involved. This is a really incredible story where Mickey and his pals find out that their dreams have been overtaken by villains, but Mickey's gonna find out if his dreams are strong enough and bright enough to overcome their villainous ways. This is a must-do because fireworks are incredible. They are a cherry on top. They are a Disney staple, but this one is a Disney classic that I think a lot of people skip, but that maybe you shouldn't. Maybe if you're not a Disney expert or a Disney fanatic in the way that like a lot of frequent travelers are, you might not even know about Fantasmic, but it is one that you need to do at least once. We didn't do it a ton when I was a kid, and then the older I got, I started making my family go because I was like, I want to watch it so bad. I even made my dad once sit through like an hour-long rain delay, and he was not super thrilled, but he was a trooper and he did it for me because this is one of my favorites. It is one of those that Sage says it all the time, live entertainment is important. This has more live entertainment for a nighttime spectacular than the other 2 do, and it just tugs on the heartstrings. It's absolutely wonderful. Mickey on top of the mountain doing magic like literally makes me cry every time. I think everybody needs to experience it, not just once in your life, but multiple times if you can help it. When it comes to rating it, I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 pixie dust piles because even if you want to skip it, I can't let you. You have to watch it, just for me. And then once you've done it once, I'll leave you alone, okay? And finally, for our last Disney must-do, you must embrace the magic while you're here. And if you don't really know what I mean, this is for all the people who maybe Disney's not your first choice of vacation, but you're coming with your family, okay? If you guys don't know this about me, something that I kind of struggle with is I have pretty bad anxiety, but I live by the quote, don't let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. And I think that that is what I'm trying to say when I say embrace the magic. It's a must-do because there's a lot of super fun Disney stuff, but a lot of people kind of take this stance of, I'm an adult, I don't really like Disney's for kids. And you know what? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We know that it's not. Walt built it for everyone, but you're ruining your own vacation by not embracing the fun, relaxing, and enjoying it. When you're here in Disney World, not letting yourself have fun is going to make your trip not as fun. It's gonna make you a little bit miserable, and it's gonna make you ready to go home. You're already here, and I'm not saying you need to wear like a Mickey Mouse costume or anything, but have fun, enjoy it, find the things that you like, because you would be surprised at how many things that you're going to enjoy when you finally take the time to embrace the magic here. You've worked hard, you've spent a lot of money, you deserve to have a little fun. So relax, embrace it all, and just enjoy yourselves. And well, pals, just like that, that's the end of our Disney World must-dos. I hope that you had so much fun with me. I know that I loved doing all of these must-dos with you. If you guys like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Now, if you're looking for some more must-dos, we just did Disneyland's. We'll see you over there. Just hop on the plane. Yep, you're good. We'll see you there.